Begin to flow down to the ground. And when you reach the ground, I'd like you to simply look around and tell me what you notice around you.
I see a lot of greenery. It looks like large leaf plants.
Are they trees or just like bushes and flowers?
Maybe a mix. Feels like it's a dense, forested type area. But the leaves look green, rubbery looking.
If you look further out, is there anything that you see beyond the forested area, or is there forest all around you?
It's all around me. I'm in the middle of it. I can't see.
Does it look bright, like it's daytime, or is it dark?
No, it seems to be daytime.
Okay. So what I'd like you to do is look down at where your feet should be and tell me what you see on your feet.
I see weird feet. They're blue-gray colored feet. Just there's no covering.
Mm-hmm.
There's one big toe, and it's longer than all the rest of them. It looks like there's like 3 smaller toes and one big toe.
So 4 toes altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And how much longer is the bigger toe than the rest?
It's hard to say. It's not super long, but it's like a long big toe.
Okay, very good. So I'd like you to become aware now of the rest of your body and just sort of glance at the rest of your body and tell me what it looks like and if you're wearing anything on it.
The hands are like 4 fingers, rounded, blue-gray like the feet.
What do you mean by rounded?
They're long, but they don't have very many joints. It's a small body. It has some form of covering, but it's lightweight and flimsy looking. It's a brownish color, tan,
Mm-hmm.
and it just drapes to mid-leg. I got 2 legs, and it appears to be 2 arms, and the body's skinny. It looks almost emaciated.
So do you have a sense if you're a male or a female?
I think male. Feels male.
Approximately young or old?
I don't get a sense of age.
Okay. Do you feel healthy or ill?
Kind of weak.
Okay. And I wonder if you can bring your attention now to your face, touch it or get a sense what it feels like, or simply become aware of it. Notice if there's anything unusual about it or what type of hair you have.
I don't feel any hair. The eyes that's interesting. The eyes are shimmery, large, round.
So are you saying there's like no solid color to the iris, that it's
But
shimmering?
it's a solid, shimmery blue-green.
Does it change?
The light makes it look like it may be reflective. I can't tell right now. It appears the ears are kind of just not even really ears. There's maybe a bumps on the side of the head. Not even real defined ears. And same thing with the nose. Not a very big nose, if it's a nose. The eyes are the most prominent feature.
Are they big?
Yeah, they're large.
Do you have eyelashes?
No.
Okay. And how do you breathe? Do you breathe through your nose?
Maybe. I mean, there is some sense of movement in the chest, but I don't know if it's breathing or really what. I mean, there's some similarities, it seems. The throat is narrow, small. The head, it looks big on top of the neck just because the neck's so. The chest is, I can't really tell how big. I could be super little, but to me, I feel big. It's hard to tell.
Right, and that's fine. So I'd like you to become aware now of why you are in that forested area, what you're doing there, and if you're there by yourself or if there are others there with you.
I think I live there. It feels like I live here. I don't sense anybody around me, but it's a dense area, so I can't see very far.
And are you on your way to the place where you live now, or are you just leaving it?
I think I'm out exploring, looking for, I don't know, maybe food.
Okay. So go ahead and allow yourself to find one of the things that would attract you as food, or perhaps one of the things that you're looking for. You'll just be attracted to it and you'll see it.
There's these pods that grow in the bushes or the trees or whatever they are, and it seems to be a food source.
And do they grow on the ground or like on the trunk of the tree?
Up in the leaves, around the leaves.
Are they
They're not
attached to the leaves?
the stems around the leaves.
Okay.
They're brown and they're hanging. I guess I'd pick them and eat them.
So go ahead and pick one from the tree. And what does it feel like? What kind of texture does it have?
It has a brown covering. It looks like I peel that off and it's white underneath.
Are you able to peel it with your hands?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not very hard.
Mm-mm.
Do you have to do anything with it, cook it, or do you just eat it?
No, I'll just eat it after I peel it.
So go ahead and eat it and describe to me what it tastes like. What's the experience like?
It's crunchy and it's got moisture, but it's got little seeds in the middle. I
Hmm.
think they're seeds. It tastes bland.
Would you compare it to a nut?
Yeah, maybe a nut flavoring. It's kind of bland, but I like them.
Hmm.
So I guess I go pick these, and that's how I eat. That's what I see right now, anyway.
And do you notice any wildlife around you? Maybe any birds or animals or insects?
No,
So are there any sounds around you, or is it really quiet?
I hear rustling of the leaves of the bushes and trees. There is what appears to be water or some liquid. The ground is kind of muddy looking.
Do you usually collect water there?
Yeah, I don't feel like I collect the water.
Do you want to go look at that water source?
Yeah, I can go. Right now, where I'm standing is just kind of moist. It might get bigger somewhere else down the way.
So is it in the ground or is it like a little waterfall or
Little bitty creek at this point.
okay. So how many of these brown pods have you collected?
2 or 3 a day.
Is that all you need? Is that enough for you to sustain yourself?
Yeah, it feels that way. Like I don't need much. I don't think I'm eating much.
Are there more available or is that all you can find? Do you choose to just eat 2 or 3 or you can't find more?
I think it's a mixture of both of what I can find, but even if I could find a bunch, I wouldn't eat more than 2 or 3, but I think they're still difficult. Like there's not super common for some reason. So I feel like I have to travel in a good area to find them.
Okay. And do you have a sense that there is anything else you could find for food?
Maybe plants. I guess since I don't eat those very often. I don't know why. These just grow on the ground. They're smaller.
The plants that you can eat?
Mm,
And when you collect them, do you just eat them raw or do you cook them in some way?
just eat them.
Okay. So what I'd like you to do now is I'm going to count from 1 to 3. And on the count of 3, you're going to see yourself standing in front of a place where you live. 1, 2, and 3. You're standing in front of a place where you live. Can you describe to me what you see?
I see a hut-ish type structure. It's on the ground. It's very simple, made out of leaves and sticks, or maybe just leaves. Oh, I need to look at that closer. It looks like they're interwoven together. It's just a simple covering.
What shape?
It's kind of rounded actually, but it's not an enclosed area. It's more like an overhang.
So you can see underneath. It doesn't have walls that go to the ground.
Just on one side. It's a place to lay down.
So when you go under this overhang, what do you see there?
It's a small clearing in the forest. It's just a small rounded area. It looks like I cleared it out. That I've been here for a little while. It doesn't look like a long-term permanent dwelling.
Okay. And so what's inside of this dwelling? You said there's a place to sleep.
Yeah, it's literally no bigger than me though. So it's just like I lay there and it protects me from the elements to a small degree.
So do you put something on the ground or do you just lay directly on the ground?
There is a covering that's on the ground. It looks like it's made out of the same material that the thing I'm wearing.
Mm-hmm. And can you allow yourself to remember where you found this material or fabric? Where did you bring it from?
I didn't, I made it. I made it out of plant fibers.
And did you make it in that forest or somewhere else?
Yeah, I made it in the forest when I first got there.
Okay. So you are able to make clothes for yourself when you need it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in that dwelling other than the small piece of cloth for your bed?
No, that's the only thing in there. It's just laying on the ground for me to lay on it.
And it must be pretty warm because it doesn't sound like you have anything to cover yourself with.
Yes, it's warm here. It feels comfortable.
Hmm. Do you use fire at all or anything that allows you to cook?
No, I don't do fire. Everything's just easily taken from the forest.
Okay. Are you familiar with what fire is?
No, it doesn't feel like it.
Okay. I want you to become aware of what it is that you do during the day, other than collecting those pods and then sleeping at some point. Become aware of what you do throughout the day.
Just staying in that area, sitting in my overhang dwelling. Appears that I am quietly sitting and just communing or meditating or relaxing or something. I do that for part of the time if I'm not looking for food.
So I wonder if you can just move to the time when you enter into one of these meditations and tell me what you're experiencing and why you're entering into this meditation.
It feels like it's partially almost like a form of sleep or a form of relaxing that I do it sitting on the ground. And I just take my attention. I go within and it just gets quiet and dark and I sit there for a long, long time.
And when that happens, when you do that, does part of you leave and go somewhere, or are you just enjoying the quiet?
I feel like there is communication with something.
So we're going to ask that to come closer to you and become more clear so that you can understand better what it is that you're communicating with.
I feel like it's kind of like communion with the rest of us. Like we're connected, and that's how I go in and I commune with them. It's a form of communication, but it's just like a connection to the rest of us.
Very good. And where are the rest of you? It's the rest of your people?
Yeah, they're everywhere, but they're not with me. They're different places. They're not with me, though.
And when you communicate with them, what is that like?
It's more like just a connection, like I'm tuning into all of us.
And how does it feel when you do that?
It feels good. It brings peace. And I enjoy doing it because it does feel lonely when I'm not doing this.
Are there any particular messages that you're able to communicate, or is it just a feeling of peace and belonging?
Yeah, it feels a peace and belonging and a deep connection. I think when we're together, though, it is used as a form of communication. But since I'm alone, I'm just kind of tuning into just the connection there, but there's nobody to talk to.
So when you are together, do you then communicate telepathically, or do you use words?
No, it's definitely through this connection.
Mm-hmm.
It's not through words, but there is communication through body language too, like touching and
Can you give me an example? Like, how would you say hello?
well, we put our heads together.
Foreheads touching?
hmm And then you touch the side of their face with your first two fingers. They do the same thing to you, and it's a greeting. But then there's the internal connection where you can focus and just communicate. But there's a connection with all of us all the time.
So when you say there's an internal connection where you can focus and communicate, can you tell me more about what form that communication takes? And what I mean by that, is it in internal sort of sentences, thoughts, or is it in the form of feelings? Is it in pictures?
It's a knowing. It's more about feeling some mental pictures, some kind of colors. I think colors are used with the knowing. So they're utilized at the same time as.
Do they help to change the meaning or add to the message?
Yeah, it's like they're integral to the message. It's just feeling, knowing, colors, some images. Seems simple.
Okay. So I want you to just focus back on yourself, and I want you to become aware of why you are living by yourself. You mentioned that you felt lonely when you're not communicating with the rest of your people. Was it your choice to be there by yourself?
I feel like it was like I was imposed to go out there, to be out there alone. I don't know that they have connections like family or I don't feel that. It feels like I was supposed to be out there.
So they made you go out there? Was it your choice in any way?
I think it was expected of me to
Okay.
go.
Do you expect that you will return?
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay.
It's later though.
So let's just allow those images to fade away. And we're going to move forward in time. So on the count of 3, you're going to find yourself in the next significant day in that life experience. 1, 2, and 3. Tell me what you're seeing or experiencing.
I am with more of us. Feels like it's maybe not a celebration, but like something important's happened and I did what I was supposed to do. They put this thing around my neck. Looks like a large red jewel or something. And they touched foreheads with me with the greeting. And it's like it was expected as well. This was supposed to happen.
Was this like a rite of passage, like you had to go through this experience so you can come back?
Yeah, it feels something like I had to go out there for a period of time, and it was expected of me. And now I'm moving on to something new. I feel like not necessarily like an elder, but somebody that's more respected now.
Would you be considered like an adult now?
Mm-hmm.
Can you become more aware of the lifespan of your people, of something that compares to human life?
It almost feels like we're ageless, but we have events that occur that take us through from one stage to the next. And it's about specific activities that we have to do to move on to the next stage, but it's not related to age. It's like they just know it's time through the connection.
So this experience that you had being alone, was this the first stage of your life, or have you had other stages before where you did other things?
I think that was the first thing that I had to do that was uncomfortable because of the loneliness.
Why was this an important experience for you to go through so that you could move on to the next stage?
It's almost like forced isolation increases the connection amongst us, teaches discipline, and when you're separated like that, it forces you to go inward and make that connection strong, because when you're in close proximity to each other, it's easier. So it's almost like we're being taught to maintain the connection when we're far from one another.
And you have been able to achieve that then?
Yes.
And when you returned, did you return because you felt that you achieved it? Or was there a certain amount of time set for you to be there? Or did somebody tell you that it was time for you to return?
It was a knowing that it was time to go back, but it was due to the connection. It's a little bit of both.
Okay. And so now that you're back and there is a type of celebration being prepared for you, just first look around and tell me what you see around you.
I see steps, tan colored buildings, low, kind of like adobe. We're next to a river, it looks like. We're outside. It's bright. I don't see the trees anymore, or the bushes.
Are there any plants or grass?
On the other side of the river, there seems to be some greenery, but it's not very big.
So where you are, is it ground
It's
without
a
any grass?
No, it's a platform. It's like it's a place that was made for the boats to come up to. That's like there's these long boats that pull up next to the platform. It's like a disembarkment point.
Kind of like a pier.
Yeah, but it's not long out into the water. It's just next to the river.
And what are the boats made out of? How big are they?
They're kind of ornamented. I don't know what they're made out of, but they're orange and they're kind of like maybe a long big canoe, but it's more ornamented.
You mean they're painted?
Yeah, it looks like they're orange and they have some gold, yellow. They look comfortable, like the seats are soft, like it's for leisure.
How many people can they fit?
Maybe 6.
How are they propelled? How do they move?
I think just in the current. It just looks like you get in and they would just go down the river with the current.
So you don't have like oars or something to row the boats?
I'm not seeing any of it.
Okay. So let's look away from the river and look back at the buildings that you saw, the tan-colored buildings. Are those one-story houses?
They're just one story. They seem very simple. One room, maybe. They're just right here. They're not living quarters. They're just places for people to maybe before they get in the boats. Yeah, it's just a small area that's got a few little buildings right there.
So go ahead and enter one of them. Look around and tell me what you see.
They have seating around the edges, low, like benches around the edges, and I think it's a place for people to wait. Maybe before they get on the boats or something else that could be going on in that area. Miniature shelters to wait.
So do your people travel in those boats all at the same time, like in large numbers?
Mm-mm. It almost feels like it's just a leisure. Like right now we're here because of me getting my necklace. I think we're going to get in the boats here and just take a short ride down the river to relax and celebrate.
And so people wait in those 3 buildings until a boat becomes available?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Let's go back to the necklace. You said it had a red gem or stone.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it attached to?
It appears to be a chain. I'm dressed in these robes. They're gold, and the necklace is placed around my neck, and that fits perfectly with those robes. So it's a pretty large gem.
And do you understand the significance of this gem?
Yeah, it shows that I'm moved to the next phase of what I'm doing with what we all do.
What is it that you all do?
We learn to build the connection with one another, and we come into our own individual abilities. Then after that, we get told where we're going to go. I'm waiting my next, where I'm going to go next.
Okay. So does this red gem have any special power, or is it just a symbolic necklace?
It's both. It's like a signal booster. Makes the connection stronger.
Like an amplifier?
Yeah, but that's only temporary. I'll be getting another one later.
Okay. So let's go back on the count of 3. See yourself in front of the dwellings where you or your people live. 1, 2, 3. Can you tell me what you see?
I see the spheres.
What are the spheres?
They're like dwellings. They're up in the sky. I don't know that we stay there forever though. They feel temporary, or like we come and go.
Are you talking about the spheres? Do you go there for the night?
I think they're isolation pods, but It's like we just go there and spend time there. I don't see that we sleep. We just do the meditation or whatever you call it when we connect. We kind of shut down, I guess, at that point. We can kind of go in. We don't lay down to sleep.
Okay. Those spheres in the sky, what is their function? What do they do for you?
They're like a place to live, but we don't use them to live. It's just maybe a place to go to have quiet time. They're natural habitats. There's greenery in them, but they're up in the sky for some reason.
So were they built by you?
No, I don't know who built them, but they're there.
Do they help you rejuvenate in any way or just rest and be by yourself?
Yeah, the rest and the communion and the spheres it's kind of like our version of sleep.
So how often do you go there?
Periodically when we feel like we need to. It's like a rejuvenation time to rejuvenate ourselves.
But it's not like on a regular basis. It's not the same for everybody.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Can you become aware of any other locations where your people would spend any time for any purpose?
There is a place. It looks like it's the gathering place for us.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like the buildings, they're tall, but they're clear.
And see-through?
Yeah, like they're maybe like a temple. It feels like it's a sacred place. We gather there.
How many people can fit in there approximately?
I don't think there's a way to count because it's large. It's a large area. It's as big as a small city. We go there at times.
And do you have a sense of how many of you there are?
Uncounted. We're everywhere. I can sense that we're beyond the planet. I feel like we're everywhere.
And so when you come into that sacred temple, would it be thousands of you that gather there or millions?
Mm. We can't go inside. Only certain ones of us are allowed inside. It's not very many
Why is that?
because it's their birthright, their right to go in there. They're supposed to be in there.
How do they receive that birthright?
It's just who they are.
Become aware of what made it so. What is it about those people that allows them to go into the temple?
They're from a specific bloodline.
And what makes that specific bloodline special?
It's been that way for all time. It's just been that way for all time. They're part of that bloodline, so that's what's expected. That's the way it is.
What is it that's special about that particular bloodline that it allows them to go into the temple? How are they different from the rest of you?
It feels like they were the original, like our connection comes from them originally. They're kept separate from us for a reason. But we all go there to pay respects or homage to them for maintaining the connection for us all.
But they live separately from you. They don't interact with the rest of you.
Mm-mm. They have their duties to do. We all have our specific duties that we perform, reasons for being there.
What is your duty at this point in your life?
Right now, I'm just preparing to go somewhere else.
For your next experience?
Yeah, later. Right now, I'm just preparing for that.
And do you know where you will be going?
Off planet somewhere. Huh. I see a wormhole or a tunnel or looks like we travel We're travelers. So I'm going to go when it's time.
And are you going to be traveling by yourself or with somebody else?
By myself.
And do you know where you will end up?
Not yet.
So how long will you get to stay with your people for now?
Until it's time. There's no set time. It's just, we'll know.
So you said that everybody has a role to play in your society. And is your role to sort of go through these experiences first before you assume some sort of role at home?
No, it's a preparation to travel, to be able to travel wherever I end up going. It's preparation for all that. We're exploring, and we're able to stay connected, and we end up going far, far, far away, and we still can stay connected, partially due to the necklaces as well.
Is this part of your travels, being now in the body of Deborah in this lifetime on Earth?
Yes.
And why did you choose to come here at this time to experience her life as a human?
It's just part of the process, of the whole process of growing and communing. We do this all the time. It creates connections.
And how is your experience going so far as a human? Are you pleased with it?
Yes, there's not much that could go wrong with it in general.
Not much that could go wrong?
It happens the way it's supposed to happen.
Are you still staying in touch with your people?
Yes,
And how do you do that?
the connection.
How do you blend it or merge it with Deborah's life as a human? Are you doing it during her sleep hours?
To start, yes, but it's getting to where it's all the time. The connection's there all the time.
So you are quite comfortable being here on Earth?
No, it's not comfortable, but it's needed.
Why is it needed? What does it contribute to your experience?
To the expansion of us. We learn through these experiences, through these humans. We're travelers. We learn through the humans. We learn through other species too.
Are there others of you that are in human bodies as well?
Yes, there are some here.
And have you been in a human form before this life as Deborah?
No.
This is your first time.
Yes.
Okay. Will you be coming back, do you think, after this, or one time is enough?
No, I will move on to another place.
Okay. So I want to ask you, where are you from? Where is your home base? Is it in the same galaxy as the Earth? Is there a name to the physical planet that you're on?
It's not here. We're not here. We're not even anywhere near here.
Okay.
It's in another reality level. We can travel everywhere though.
Okay. So I'm going to let you go and thank you for sharing this information with us today.